The Sirius Mission from the Robot with a Soul by Keenan Kolday. An esoteric sci-fi book on spiritual transformation, the science of consciousness, the future of the world, and the technologies that will change the world till 2075 ACE. Location: Spiritual Administration Center Decision Hall located in Sirius A. Time was not the known time. Everywhere was dark at the door of infinity. An environment dominated by darkness and absolute silence. The sound of silence was prevailing. No perception of direction or space. There was not a single movement to point out the flow of time. If there was no movement, was there time? In this place where there was no time and space, a voice broke this silence that would otherwise seem to last forever. Darkness turned into light, in a blink of an eye. Now everywhere was bright. There was nothing but light. The light was everywhere without any source. Then came another light, but this time in a ray from above and stronger than the first light. The details in this hall and even the hall itself could not have existed for mortal eyes without the light above, as if it meant to say that there would be no shadow without light and no presence of light without the shadow. That enormously strong light had suppressed the power of that first emergent light, like a candle flame being no longer visible when placed in front of the bright sun. In this hall without walls, everything was white. Snow white. Whiter than the known white color. Silence and tranquility were still dominant in all directions. If an angel clapped its wings, it could be heard in silence forever. Since the contrast between the light from above and the light that had just existed allowed the shadows to exist, the items that could not be informed about their existence in the hall were now more than obvious. Just as everything in this realm is evident with the opposite, even light in this space would not make sense without shadows for the unholy eyes. For humans, who do not know that even the shadow is made up of shades of light, was it possible to call these shades shadows? Even shadows were nothing but a faint shade of white compared to pure white in that divine hall. 18 white empty seats were lined up in a circle around another seat in the center. The white hall without walls with these 19 seats was located on the top of a high mountain with no beginning, like Mount Olympus where Zeus and other gods gathered. In this realm where there was movement at a speed beyond the speed of light, 19 divine beings filled these 19 seats within a moment faster than the blink of an eye. There was not a single voice giving a hint of their sudden appearance out of nowhere. The leader of these light-bodied human-like angelic beings looked at eyes of divine love, agape. In the hall where everything developed rapidly faster than the blink of an eye, all the divine beings that filled the hall stood up as if they were preparing to greet someone. There was still no word, but there was now only sound, as it was in the creation of the universe. As the 18 divine beings rotated counterclockwise around their leader in the center of the circle, they started humming the first AUM sound in a lighter and slower tone. The AUM sound radiates in all directions like light without losing its speed and power. After 3 laps, this circular movement ended. First, the leader in the center and then the others sat down. A blue light that suddenly emerged out of nowhere besides the divine being standing in the center of the circle, bringing a new contrast to this hall where only the tones of white were dominant, seemed to be a harbinger of something new coming up. With the disappearance of the blue light, only a tall, white-skinned man with wisdom, might, and strength shining out from his eyes remained. This mysterious newcomer looked as pure and loving as other divine beings in his white outfit that covered his entire body. Despite the wrinkles on his white face hidden by her long beard, like the sages of ancient times, this old man, who appeared in his 70s when he was looked at from a distance, was looking like a person in his early 40s with the energy, smile, and joy on his face. His long white hair was falling all over his shoulders. In his left hand, he was holding a long wooden scepter with a caduceus heading. A little blue fire was still burning in the eyes of 2 snakes staring at each other in the caduceus heading of the specter. After a short silence, this new visitor received the message that was the reason for his arrival and greeted the leader of the divine beings, putting his right hand on his heart, slightly bowing his head and upper body forward. The only word that came out of his mouth was a "who," which was said with compassion, nobility, kindness, and greatness and somehow resounded in the hall without these walls. It was such a lofty voice that, as if all the seeming and invisible elements that made up this mysterious hall were shouting loudly that everything in the universe was one, answering the "who" sound that came out from the mouth of this sage. It was such a powerful word that all sentient beings, all emanations of the universe would remain still and silent in divine love and reply back as Illahu, to this eternal name of God which includes all the known and unknown names and adjectives to describe him. These ascended beings, whose hands are the hands of God, whose words are the words of God, greeted the mysterious tall newcomer in the same way by placing their right hands on their hearts and leaning forward with their heads and bodies. In this divine setting where neither words, nor physical elements, nor the mind was enough to make meaning and to speak, because only hearts would discern the eternal truths and the oneness in plurality, it was a meaningful symbolism of reverence to greet by taking their hands to the heart. In this realm where the secrets could be understood without the need for words, and the secrets were loaded and transferred to the symbols for those who could realize them, everything had a reason, a meaning, and a divine routine. And, with the completion of this loving ritual, the new visitor disappeared in the blue light that suddenly appeared when he knocked the specter in his left hand. This mysterious visitor had received a non-physical message in this quiet meeting. He had received what he had come for, without any words or anything delivered. He was given a mission. This mysterious visitor who has helped tired humanity living all over the world throughout the history of humanity was allowed to do something that had never been done. Because every mission given was subject to a permit. Although the spiritual realm still provided full support and aid to humanity, which was still behind in its spiritual evolution with wars and struggles on Earth, this time the time of humanity was less than ever. The time to make a permanent change had come, leaving no room for any delays and deviations from plans. For this reason, humanity who could not reach to their divine potential due to fighting among themselves would be helped by a contradictory method. This tall, white-bearded old man disappeared into an azure blue light, placing his right hand on his heart, leaning forward, saluting the presence of the divine being in the center of the hall, confirming that he understood his mission. Those who remained in the hall disappeared suddenly, turning into a white light like this wise old man. Now there was no shadow nor light in that divine setting. Everything was again emptiness or nothingness as it was in the beginning. Apart from those who experienced this incident from first hand, there was nobody to know and realize it properly. If there was anything to know, there were those who were making plans to serve humanity and the divine order with the permission of the Holy Creator. Robo-sapiens would be given a chance to save humanity in the world. A last chance to Homo sapiens sapiens, the human who knows he knows, was given to save himself. By an exceptional spiritual master, Hermes Trismegistus. The story continues in the robot with a Soul Trilogy by Keenan Kolde, also available on Amazon.